Welcome to the Dwarves with Swords How to Play video. I'm Earle and I'm your host. In this video, I'll teach you how to play a game of Dwarves with Swords. Before getting into the dice rolling and beer drinking part of the game, spend some time looking at the action cards and see what kind of formations you need to use the actions you want. If there's a particular action you want to use, make sure to build your group with that action's required formation. You're allowed to have 2 groups, so keep that in mind when looking at actions. Different groups can use different actions, and the actions don't have to be shared, but they can be. You might notice some keywords on the actions as you go through them. These are boost, continuous, immediate, magical, and physical. Magical and physical describe the type of attack that the card is doing and let you know what defense you'll need against them. Magical attacks are powered by knowledge and defended against by wisdom, while the physical attacks are powered by strength and defended against by armor. Immediate and continuous tell you when an effect occurs and how long it lasts. Immediate effects happen when you play the action and only happen once, while continuous effects last on the group until it's activated again. Boost will let you either increase the die size or add additional dice to the action's roll in the amount listed next to the word boost, as long as you meet the requirements on the card. So, Crack-a-Lackin' will let you choose to either add 1 die to your knowledge roll, or change the 10-sided dice to 12-sided dice if you have 1 column of mage swords, or you can choose between adding 2 dice to the attack roll, changing the dice from 10 to 20-sided, or adding 1 die and changing the dice from 10 to 12-sided if you have 2 columns of mage swords in your group. Once you have your groups picked out, grab the dwarves you need for those formations and put them into the group grids to match. Then, you'll need to write your army's attributes on the player coaster. Dexterity, strength, armor, knowledge, wisdom, memory, and maximum health for both groups. For all of these except memory and speed, just add together each dwarf's amount for that attribute. Memory is added by class, so it's good to diversify your group if you want more of it. Speed is just the lowest of any dwarf in the group. You can't leave anyone behind. Now, go through all of your actions, pull out the ones that match your group formations for both groups, and put the rest back in the box. The ones you have pulled out are all of the actions you can use for this game. After everyone has their armies and actions ready to go, it's time to see who will go first. To determine the first player, each player grabs a die, any die at the table, and rolls it. The lowest roll is now first player. Before the game starts, all players can use a defensive action on each of their groups. Write the defensive action name, or something interpretable to that effect, on your player coaster next to current defense for each group so that everyone knows what kind of challenge they're up against if they choose to attack it. The first player places a group anywhere on the board, and then going counterclockwise around the table, all the other players do the same, continuing until no one has any groups left to place. Now it's time to jump into the action. Starting with the first player, a turn looks like this. The active player chooses 1 group for the turn, and any existing defense effects on it clear. That group may then perform any or all of the following 4 steps in any order. Use an attack action, use a defense action, use a move action, and use speed to change position on the board. After all of the desired actions are performed, the next player clockwise around the table becomes the active player. All that's left now is to learn how combat works. This is where we'll need to use those attributes you wrote down on your player coaster earlier. Each attack and defense action will reference at least 1 attribute and have a die size with it. For instance, if you're using Way of the Drunken Fist, you'll look at your group's dexterity, modified by drunkenness, added to their drunkenness, and then roll that many 12-sided dice. In this example, the attacking group doesn't have any base dexterity and only 1 drunkenness, so it will roll 2 12-sided dice. The defending group, who's using Shield Sword Wall, will look at their armor and roll that many plus 2 20-sided dice. Since they have 3 base armor, they will roll 5 20-sided dice. All of these dice are compared against each other from lowest to highest. The lowest dexterity die against the lowest armor die, then the second lowest dexterity die against the second lowest armor, and so on until all of the dexterity dice are gone. All dexterity dice that are higher than the die they are compared to are successes, and if they are maximum roll for that die size, they count as 2 successes. Every success removes 1 die from the next roll. Strength versus armor. In this roll, the attacking group had 1 success, so in the next roll, the defending group will only use 4 20-sided dice. Once again, the 2 rolls will be compared from lowest to highest, and whenever the strength die is higher, it will be a success. All maximum rolls are still 2 successes. This time, though, instead of removing armor, the successes will deal damage. Way of the Drunken Fist specifies 2 damage per success, but this changes depending on the attack. This roll had 1 success to deal 2 total damage. Now, if the attack action played is magical, the sequence is a little different. Let's use a good offense for the attack and the best defense as the defense in this example. The attacking group will look at how much knowledge they have and roll that many 12-sided dice. This group has 3 knowledge, so they'll roll 3 12-sided dice. The defending group will look at their wisdom and roll that many 12-sided dice. In this case, that's also 3. The 2 rolls will be compared from lowest to highest again, but this time instead of reducing wisdom, the attacking player will look at the damage portion of the attack and roll those dice for each success. The defending group will take damage equal to that total. The attacking group had 3 successes, and these 3 damage dice will deal 8 total damage. On top of flinging spells and smashing swords, Dwarves with Swords also depends heavily on every dwarf's favorite part of battle: beer. Drunkenness gives the group some extra power to all of their attack and defense rolls by increasing their base attributes. Many actions increase or decrease the drunkenness of the attacking group, the defending group, or both. These swings in power can make or break even the best laid plans. If a group has 0 or fewer hit points remaining, they are removed from the board. If the group's drunkenness is equal to or greater than their memory, they are also removed from the board. When only one player has any groups on the board, they win and are crowned the king under the mountain. At least until next game.